Hello and welcome to Beyond the Events, which features conversations with industry leaders discussing their careers and experiences producing the world's most talked about events. I'm your host, Starr. Today, I'm joined by Sue Brady, producer and founder of Badass Media and Meetings. Sue has been a storyteller since the age of 5 when she wrote a Dr. Seuss book and her mom explained the concept of plagiarism. Sue has over 20 years of experience of producing live and virtual events, television, video, and film projects under her belt. Sue, for the past 6 years, has led her team and global clients through her brand, Badass Media and Meetings. She thrives on the pressure that comes with live production and learns something new with each project, which, along with traveling, she credits as one of the best parts of her job. Sue and her team take on meaningful projects for causes they feel can make a positive impact on people. Sue credits her badass team with the company's success. I've had the pleasure of working with Sue for the last 2+ years on one of those meaningful projects, the Donate Life Transplant Games, which highlights the critical importance of organ eye tissue donation while celebrating the lives of organ donors and recipients. Sue, I'm so excited to have you join us today. Welcome to the program.
Thanks. This is so exciting.
Thank you. I'm excited too. So I'm going to jump right into it and ask the question that I know listeners would love to hear about. Give us a quick overview of how you got your start in the industry.
So I was literally sitting on my couch on a Saturday morning. I live in Columbus, Ohio. And a friend called and said, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing today?" Nothing. Well, I'm at the Ohio State game working for ABC Sports, and they need a stage manager. You want to come down? Okay. Well, and now here we are 20 years later. I mean, that was it. I mean, I have a degree in communications and PR, and I had done internship work for, sports TV, that sort of thing. But that was literally the start of it.
That was your transition moment.
Yeah.
So since then, I know you've done a ton of events. So, talk to us about some of the events that you've done.
So I did sports for a long time, college football, IndyCar racing, Monday Night Football, a couple of World Series. And then when I was done with TV, I moved into the agency side and was at Procter & Gamble for a number of years working with their executives. And that was amazing. Like, I can't say enough about that company and the folks that work there. And had a chance to work with some other clients when I was in the agency side too. And then, just got to the point where it felt like it was time to kind of branch out on my own. So like 6 years ago, I started my company.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think that everybody needs that background so that you have that skill set to apply to your new life. And you don't even realize it, obviously, as you're going through it.
Right. So true.
Exactly. So obviously during these times, things have changed. It's been a little bit crazy. So I just wanted to get a feel of how have things changed for you during this time?
Well, obviously everything has transitioned from we're going to go set up in an arena such as yours, Starr, or a ballroom or wherever to, we still need to communicate to our people. We still need to celebrate and recognize achievements. So how do we do that? And it's all, gone from a live event look and feel and reality to virtual. But this isn't the first time I've been through this. So what's been nice is, a lot of folks in the industry are pivoting, which is kind of the new word, right? There was no pivoting for my team because we've got 10 years of virtual experience under our belt. Back from like 2008, 2009 with an economic downturn and a lot of travel for global events stopped, and we had to figure out how to recreate those events in a virtual environment, literally across the globe.
No, That's honestly, that's where your 20 years of experience comes into play. You know, I think a lot of people right now are starting to dive into skill sets that they never had before. So I would just say, basically, in that pivoting, it really wasn't a pivot for you, but what do you think basically helped you to be able to pivot? So, like, what's the core skill set, things that you had learned that you are able to apply during this time?
Well, it's really, when you think about producing an event, you think about it in a slightly different way than virtual. Virtual is like producing a television show,
Mhm.
honestly. You're 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 one dimension, because it's you, putting your content on a screen, and there isn't a room full of people to react in a 340 situation. So you have to think about things a lot differently. How you present the material, the script writing, and then knowing the technology is huge. And when we started doing this work in 2008, 2009, you know there weren't many products, weren't many tools on the market. We were sort of pioneering things, which was fun and crazy at frustrating all at the same time, but super, super rewarding and exciting. I love to learn new things and I love technology. So being involved in a sort of another phase of a virtual life is different this time, because the technology is so much better, because there are so many tools to choose from,
Mhm.
which we didn't have the luxury of back in the day.
You use those tools in full excess over the last couple of months. I happen to be privy of the virtual events that you did last week for the Transplant Games, which was phenomenal. Like, congratulations to you and your team. It really,
Thank
to
you.
produce one event in one day is insane, but you produced a series of events over the course of a week, which I know, I'm sure, had its challenges with it. But what do you think helped you all be successful in that production last week? Aside, obviously, from the skill set, but basically just making sure that things work well and on time.
Yeah. So we took the best pieces of the live event, scaled them down, and to make them more like bite-sized chunks, manageable. And I just have a really amazing creative and collaborative team. Olivier Cedra, who's with the Brooklyn Nets and was with the Cavs, is a creative partner of mine, and he was super instrumental in helping create those segments. So we, snuck into Jersey in between shutdowns and shot 30 segments worth of material. That all aired, last week. So that is where video production comes in super helpful, because you're planning for post-production, and I had a whole segment come out of that shoot that I never even had thought about or conceived at all. And it was really, really cool to listen to all the material after the fact and be like, hey, there's a whole nother segment here that is super fun and interesting. So let's just go for it and add that to the mix.
No, that's awesome, honestly. And I think having a good crew around you, obviously, because you bring out the best of each other, that's always good. And you can continue to, think through and problem solve, which is always necessary in our industry.
Yeah. And it also helps that, my client is amazing. Bill Ryan, Transplant Life Foundation, owner or partner, or I'm sorry, parent company of the Transplant Games, is a dream to work with. And I just appreciate him and the Ryan family and the opportunity so much. He's very, very open when I come to him with crazy ideas.
Like you, Bill is phenomenal. Like, your energy and his energy, it just makes everything calm, even in the worst scenarios, and it just makes it flow. So I appreciate both of you as well.
Thank you.
So aside from virtual, what trends are you beginning to see in the new normal and the future of events, like, and production?
Yeah. So, obviously a focus on like health and safety it's not that we weren't focused on health and safety before. We obviously have had some scenarios building up over the last few years that we've had to sort of change the way we approach things. But this is a brand new world, right? And so thinking about where I used to put 15,000 people in a building as an audience, well, how do I do that now? And what measures, especially when you're dealing with the transplant games folks, it's an immunocompromised group. Everyone's got health and safety concerns, but these guys in particular have some major, health and safety concerns. And so how do we go about keeping them safe and lessening their anxiety? Yeah. That's really kind of my focus, in addition to planning all the stuff.
Yeah. just one more thing, right? I will say you all were already concerned with health and safety. I mean, through the protocols that were already being discussed, but yes, now we're at a whole nother level of this. And hopefully by next July, we'll have some type of stability to understand the current environment. So I would say, is there anything that you're not seeing that you would like to see, even if it's something that's not concerning like health and safety, somewhere that you would like the production and events industry to go?
I mean, of course, I want the old days back, right? Because the vibe of being in the room or the building or the wherever with thousands of people who are all there supporting a cause, who are all joining together, who are taken on an emotional journey by whatever storytelling we're doing. Like, there isn't anything in my mind that beats that, and I'm sure you see it too, just like kind of standing in the background watching somebody on stage and like their fans are just going crazy because there's so much love and passion for whatever's happening. I think figuring out a way to harness the emotion and project that in this virtual world is something that I would absolutely love to figure out.
You will. I'm confident if anybody will, it will be you.
I don't know. No pressure.
No pressure at all. No pressure. But you did hear it here first. So, no, I completely agree with you, honestly. Like, that's something that made me want to be in this career and have that experience, because there's nothing like the energy of happiness running through, or like people coming together for one combined cause. It's a thrill and something that makes your skin crawl in a good way. So I would just ask, what's one piece of advice that you would give somebody entering into the events and production industry, like specifically into the event production side of things?
Gosh, soak up as much as you can from as many people as you can. What you can learn from stagehands about how the infrastructure comes together, amazing. Invaluable, because that's only going to help you, if you want to become a producer, kind of understand how to talk to your tech team about schedules and what can be done and what's possible, and weight bearing conversations, like, you can't put a car on this kind of stage deck. It's got to be this kind of stage deck. Like that, like minutia is super important to make you successful, and also I would say the client relationship is the utmost importance, right? I treat my clients like their family, and we have long-standing, like years and years and years, long-standing relationships, and we trust each other, and that doesn't happen right away. and be open, you know, to their ideas. And good, positive, fun collaboration is going to benefit everybody, including, you know, the audience at the end of the day.
Definitely. And you can always see the difference. Like, you can see calm productions and then you see chaotic productions, and it all starts at the relationship and at the core, honestly. And what I've seen of you is like you do have really strong relationships with your clients and they look at you the same way as you look at them. And I think that's a respect relationship. So I will ask you one thing that you're looking forward to either during this time or post this time that you may have coming up that you're working on.
Oh, a project?
Are you
I'm
able
looking
to
forward
talk
to
about
you.
it?
Well, I'm looking forward to you and I getting back together inside your building
Yeah.
very soon, hopefully. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Yeah, you know, it's funny. My October is usually filled with, I don't know, 4 or 5 humongous live events. And fortunately, I retained all of them and they're virtual, right? So a lot of producers are risk averse. And I would say that I love taking a risk, but I'm a risk mitigator, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll have 42 contingency plans for something that could potentially go wrong. But the one thing I want to come out of the gate with is like it's always about a wow factor, right? So a couple of the events that I have coming up in October, I'm calling them hybrids, right? So there's like a live element and then there's a pre-produced element. And mm-hmm. the thing that you can't control in this scenario is the internet, unfortunately. You know, and as a producer, you are ultimately a control freak, and that's what makes you successful. Part of what makes you successful.
It's true. Somebody has to be, right?
Yeah.
So why not you?
Yeah. No, everything controlling. And so, you know, we actually had an event a couple of weeks ago that was going to be a hybrid scenario, and for a number of reasons had to go completely virtual. And my team this was a pivot situation for sure. We had to pivot from a 50-50 live in a studio and virtual to 100% virtual in 2 hours. And it was intense. I have a pretty small inner circle of folks that I work with, and we worked together for 15 years. And, you know, we complete sentences and thoughts and ideas for each other because we just know each other so well. And I wouldn't trade those guys for anything. And they came through with like an incredible scenario where there was a potential exposure, COVID exposure situation, right? So master control moved to my house. And I mean, like audio, video, like I'll have to send you a picture. It's ridiculous. Like the cabling in my house was insane. And I was not exposed. And so they sent me to another location to stay for like 2 days. But they figured out how I could direct the show via FaceTime through my laptop. I could see everything in real time and direct the show, and also was IFB to the talent via FaceTime through some kind of audio setup. And it was like I was there with them, but I was a half hour away physically. So like, you know, I don't even have words for like how amazing my team is. To have all of that figured out and for them to bend over backwards like that to try and make it as much of a real life situation that we would be in as possible and still keep me, you know, in the loop was incredible.
No, that's incredible, and honestly, that's a testament to all of your skill sets. Honestly, because most people would just break down, as we're seeing is happening throughout the country right now and the world. So, you know, kudos to you all to be able to pull that through, and I'm glad that everybody was safe and healthy.
Yes, worked out well for sure.
So I always like to ask this question. What is one event that you would love to or would have loved to work on? So it could be before your lifetime, during, after, whatever you like.
Oh my gosh. I thrive on pressure, right? Like the more pressure, the better. Um, I think like the Olympic opening ceremony
Wow.
would be my ultimate. Yeah.
Yeah. That would actually be amazing.
It
Well,
would
you're
be.
getting there, honestly. I mean, opening ceremony of the transplant games is like you're leveling to that right now.
I did the World Rowing Championships a couple of years ago, and worked with several people that were on the IOC, and it was interesting to talk to them about like what we were doing versus like the actual opening ceremony for that event, and super cool stuff. Like I love the international flair of it.
Oh, that would be amazing. Well, I hope that for you as well. So, Sue, thank you so much for being with us today. I would love for you to tell our audience how they can connect with you.
Yeah, so I am on social media. First, my website is badassmeetings.com. You can find me on Facebook, Badass Meetings, also Instagram, Badass Meetings. I try and stay active on there. I'm terrible at it. I'm going to admit that. Like, you can't be good at everything, right? I'm good at like two things and marginally good at a few things, but like social media, I am absolutely terrible at.
That was awesome. They should definitely follow you on LinkedIn because that's, I think, the place that'll get to you. That's
LinkedIn
another good one.
also, right? Yeah.
Yes, LinkedIn.
Thanks for reminding me.
You're welcome. I've got you. So everyone, please follow Sue Brady on LinkedIn. Definitely check out her company. She's doing big things and will continue to do big things for years to come. Please follow us on LinkedIn as well as Instagram and YouTube at Beyond the Events. And thank you for joining us today. Have a great day.